Breaking news, ladies and gentlemen, Elly Productions has released a new video. This one is the man who broke NASCAR. Yes, immediately somebody pinged that in the Discord channel, and guess what? We are going to check it out right now. Let's go.
Once in a generation, there comes an athlete who does more than just excel, but pushes the needle so hard and so far that they become the standard for excellence. Some even go beyond, flying a little too close to the sun and falling right back down to earth. One such case is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who was so dominant with his slam dunk that the NCAA banned it outright in 1967. Then in 1968, pitcher Bob.
I feel like we've talked about things getting banned a lot lately. People are so quick to ban something when it looks too amazing, too impressive. There was this athlete, I can't remember what the name was, but they did a crazy backflip on ice skating and they banned that move completely. They said, nah, too dangerous. And now I think it's acceptable to do it now. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Bob Gibson threw such a dominant season that the MLB lowered the pitcher's mound a third of the way down. Even as recently as the mid-2000s, goaltender Martin Brodeur was such a savvy stick handler that the NHL put boundaries on where goalies could go with the puck.
Oh my gosh.
Get over there.
These men are all part of a fraternity who, either by exploitative loopholes or just sheer crushing dominance, forced the rules of their sports to accommodate them. They are quite literally game changers. Though even still, they all have nothing on the man we'll be discussing today. When it comes to changing the game, this man didn't just push the envelope or inspire an amendment to the rulebook. Oh no, he made his sport throw away every convention of their own competition and question the very essence of being a champion. It's possible that in the entire history of organized sports, no one has ever had such an impact as Matt Kenseth.
Oh,
With that kind of introduction, I bet you thought he'd look more like this. Well, don't let his scrawny build or awkward grace of a school picture day fool you. MK is as influential an athlete as they come. In fact, he may very well be the most influential talent of his generation, because after just one championship season, he influenced NASCAR to change its entire points format. A system that by and large had been in place for 54 years was completely reset, just like that. And it all started with Matt Kenseth.
Need another Kenseth. Copy that. Did I win? Yep. Yeah. He's a robot. A winning robot.
How much did he win for him to turn into a winning robot?
Brought up as a cheesehead in rural Wisconsin, Kenseth grew up watching his uncles run in local car races until one day his father Roy decided to buy one of those cars for him to drive and for Matt to work on. The then 13-year-old had no idea what to do with a race car, but struck a deal with his dad that if he could work on it until he was 16, he could start driving it. Fast forward a couple of years and that deal came to fruition as the teenager began making a name for himself at the Slinger Speedway, a quarter-mile oval with the banking of a superspeedway, and the Madison International Speedway.
Did he not go through karting like everybody else did? Was this his first introduction into racing, his own race car on the track? And goddamn, all these parents be having money. Damn, my parents didn't have no money. Dude.
Hosted all manner of stars like Dick Trickle and Rich Bickle. And no, I did not just make those names up. It was here in 1994 that Kenseth won his first track championship, beating the defending champ Robbie Reiser. More on him shortly. In the local scene, Kenseth continued to rack up wins and championships until 1996, when he took his talent south to compete in the Hooters Late Model Series.
Of course he did.
What would later become...
What else are you gonna do when you're a teenager? You're gonna find Hooters.
...the Cars Tour. He would also make select starts in the NASCAR Truck Series and then move up to the Busch Series, of course with the intention of eventually getting to the Cup Series. But as sponsors were few and far in between, the deal fizzled out, and Matt was stuck in limbo.
Damn.
By 1997, now 25 years old, he was considering going back to the Wisconsin short tracks, but in April of that year, he'd get a call from, of all people, Robbie Reiser. Turns out Robbie had moved up to the NASCAR Busch Series as an owner-driver, though after stepping out of the car, his new driver, a prolific snowmobile racer named Tim Bender, sustained a career-ending neck injury that ended his brief soiree in stock cars. So Robbie figured if he couldn't beat Kenseth, maybe he could join him. Or make him join him. You know what I mean. Matt took the deal
I
and
know what
jumped
you
in
mean,
to
bro.
run the last 2/3 of the 97 season and impressed Robbie enough that he kept the seat in 1998. In the first race of that year, he ran fairly well and finished a modest 6th, but it was the second race of the season where he shocked everyone by passing Tony Stewart on the final lap, the only lap he led all day.
He pushed him out of the way. He said, bro, get your ass out of the way. Did you see that push? I saw that push. But for your second race, though, that's still very impressive.
Robbie Reiser, my team owner, crew chief's the greatest. He believed in me and stayed with me. There was a lot of drivers that had sponsors with them that wanted to drive this car, but Robbie believed in me and it's paid off.
From a fill-in to a front-runner, Matt Kenseth had officially broken on to the NASCAR scene, continuing to win races and even getting a shot in the Cup Series, filling in for Bill Elliott, matching his best result of that year with a 6th place finish. Though,
oh, that is so impressive. I think he's about to say something negative. But getting into the top series and equaling the top finish for that same person, that will blow a lot of people away and get a lot of people thinking like maybe we need to put him in a seat. But I think something negative is coming.
impressive as Matt was in his first 2 seasons of NASCAR racing, he couldn't quite nab that Busch Series championship.
Okay.
That honor, as well as the spotlight, belonged to another young man with a slightly more marketable name.
Oh, trouble. There they go. Both of them into the wall. Now, Earnhardt hit very hard coming off the corner.
Rising the ranks right alongside Kenseth was the 1998 and 99 Busch Series champion, Dale Earnhardt Jr., whose rise would continue to coincide with Matt's all the way to the Cup level, as both made their first starts with their respective teams in 1999 and had their rookie seasons in 2000. Naturally, being the 2-time defending champ and heir to one of the greatest lineages in racing, Dale Jr. was all but sworn in as the Rookie of the Year. But most overlooked the mild-mannered Matt, who, despite the familiar look, had undergone a change in management. Kenseth, Reiser, and the entire 17 team were picked up and promoted by Roush Racing, at the time one of the Cup Series' most formidable teams. With drivers Mark Martin and Jeff Burton at the helm, they collected a heaping helping of trophies. But 2 things that had eluded them thus far were a Cup Championship and a Daytona 500. Through the years and through a barrage of the best talents the sport had to offer, they would eventually achieve it all, for a short while even dominating the NASCAR Cup Series. But for now, it all started here, in the year 2000, with Matt Kenseth.
Here he comes.
Right, I want to know how he destroyed
the
it.
Coca-Cola 600 for Wisconsin's Matt Kenseth.
This is great. This is matter. He's earned it, and they're going to win a bunch more of them.
I'm sure you are. Congratulations.
Thanks a lot, Ken. Appreciate it.
By just 2 places in the points, Kenseth was able to beat Jr. to the Rookie of the Year award, and from there just kept on rolling. Although he went winless in 2001, he collected a series-high 5 victories in the 02 season. However, he also had 11 finishes of 30th or worse, which relegated him all the way down to an 8th place points finish.
How'd you win so much and lose so much at the same time?
Despite winning more races than anybody else in the field that year, Kenseth was nowhere close. And the takeaway was, if he wanted to win the 2003 championship, he would have to get consistent.
Matt Kenseth scores his 7th career Winston Cup victory.
After a quick victory in Race 3 at Las Vegas, Race 4 in Atlanta ended with Kenseth at the top of the board for the first time in his career. And spoiler alert, that didn't change for the entire rest of the season. From early March to mid-November, he spent 32 straight races P1 in the points. And the craziest part, he didn't win another race. That lone win in Vegas all the way at the start of the season was the only win he got on his way to the championship.
That was absolutely incredible. What? Only won 1 race and still end up at the top like that? Oh my gosh. Shows the level of consistency. He probably ended up in the top 5s or something for a very long time, or even top 3 for a very long time, just collecting the points. And maybe that's what they're talking about, why they changed the rules. He probably was so far gone from the next person that they said, bring in the chase. Making sense.
Meanwhile, another young gun in Ryan Newman amassed 8 wins, double the most of anyone else in the field. Yet due to suffering the same kind of inconsistency as Kenseth in the year prior, Newman too came nowhere close to the crowd.
That's my favorite guy right there, Mr. Newman.
What can we say?
Always crashing.
Consistency is key. Though that consistency left a lot of fans flipping the channel to football once fall rolled around, as the championship title was all but solidified by Matt's unwavering persistence. After Dover, over 3/4 of the way through the year, Kenseth left with a 436-point lead, which meant, if the rules allowed it, he could sit out the next 2 weeks and still hold a sizable gap over second place. It wasn't a battle, it was a slaughter. And this anticlimactic feeling wasn't helped when, in the finale, Kenseth blew a motor and wound up finishing dead last in the race.
And still won the championship.
Needing a whole new engine installed just so he could go and collect his trophy.
It's obviously very disappointing to drop out that early in the race and not get to race all day for a victory, but we had a wonderful season. I'm real lucky to have such a great team behind me.
By now, fans were used to the champion being crowned well before the end of the season, as at this point, 4 of the last 5 championship pursuits were settled before the final race. But seeing the success of events like the Super Bowl and the World Series, NASCAR was getting jealous. "We want a winner-takes-all season finale. We want drama," said Brian France in a drunken stupor. So on January 10th...
This is exactly what was happening in Formula One. They were winning, like, many races before the end. And, I was still very keen. I'll still watch it. But no, they want to change all of that, or they wanted to change all of that. They start doing double points in the final race. Like, what? I don't understand the need for a season finale. The sports is not designed to be like that, to always have a final. Bro, anyway, it's just going to get me mad because we know what happened in 2021. I will never forget that day.
2004, they announced that their traditional points format that they had used since 1949 would be scrapped in favor of their new system, the Chase for the Cup.
Chase for the Cup.
I'm not sure most people at the time grasped just how much this would change everything. A points reset with 10 races remaining where only a handful of drivers would still be eligible to win the Cup. They had taken inspiration from the now Cars Tour, which implemented a similar format back in 2001, but make no mistake, NASCAR was the first and, for a long time, only major motorsport to enact such a drastic change. And now we know there's a reason for that. Every driver and every season from here on out would exist under a cloud of the hypothetical. And unfortunately, for the rest of his career, that included Matt Kenseth.
Damn.
He started the 04 season continuing to be on top, but as the year carried on and the inaugural chase rolled around, he couldn't quite keep up with his teammate Kurt Busch, who brought Roush their second consecutive championship. 2005 saw more of the same, as Kenseth rallied just enough to make the chase, but not enough for a convincing fight. Once again, if he wanted to be champion, he'd have to get consistent. And in 2006, that's precisely what he did. With a flurry of wins and only 1 DNF the whole year, Matt managed to stay in the fight all the way until the very end. He even led the standings with just 3 races to go, but from there, Jimmy Johnson would take over and pull away to his first Cup Series championship. The first of many, as he would round out the 2000s as the first man to win 5 consecutive Cups.
Madness.
Kenseth, on the other hand, suffered a bit of a backslide, still winning, still competing, but not convincingly enough to be considered a contender.
You just don't know me. If the format he was racing at was the chase when he won his championship, he would have lost it because his engine blew up in the final race. He would not have been a world champion. Ain't that crazy?
Maybe it was the system, maybe it was complacency, or maybe it was because by now, Matt Kenseth was focused on a different prize.
Now 20 years into their existence, Roush Racing still had yet to claim the Harley J. Earl Trophy for the Daytona 500, and Kenseth in particular struggled to run the whole 500 miles without winding up in the garage. So it played to his favor that in 2009, as he took the lead with 55 laps remaining, the rain began to fall and the prospect of running the full distance was washed away.
Nah, it's crazy to me driving 500 miles in one sitting. No brakes. Well, there is sort of brakes now, stage cautions or wherever it is. But back in the days, no brakes, just continuous driving. You go to the pit to get your tire changed, have some fuel, and you're back at it again. You're not stretching, you're not walking around. That is absolutely mental. I couldn't even do 120 miles without thinking about maybe pulling up to the side of the road and stretching my legs a little bit. And these guys are doing it day in, day out. It's so wild.
There is your Daytona 500 winner in the 51st running of the Great American Race, the 2009 champ.
Man, I don't know. Winning the Daytona 500 is definitely a G moment. It's just an unbelievable feeling.
It might not have happened the way he envisioned it, but at least Jack Roush finally had a Daytona 500. Though if you thought that was a weird way to win it, just wait until you hear about the 2012 iteration. After getting pushed back to Monday night, then getting pushed further by 4 big crashes, as well as Juan Pablo Montoya nearly burning the track down, the race ran.
Every video Pablo Montoya turns up crashing into this goddamn track cleaner or dryer.
Until nearly 1 o'clock in the morning when, with a hearty push from his teammate Greg Biffle, Matt Kenseth doubled down.
Is there a happier man in America right now than you?
There might be, but I don't know where he is.
A Rookie of the Year, a champion, and now a Daytona 500 winner twice over, Kenseth had quietly...
Be like beef, no? Is that what they say? Sorry, I was just playing in my head for a minute there. I think I said do it for Greg, but it's do it for Dale. Do it for Dale. I don't know. Guys, correct me, please. I think I'm getting my quotes wrong. Do it for Dale, be like beef, right?
He stacked up an outstanding career. Now all that was left to do was add to the tally, though by now it was becoming increasingly clear that Roush was headed in the wrong direction. They simply couldn't keep up with the changing tides of the sport, and thus over the next few years their star-studded lineup would dissipate until the team was virtually unrecognizable.
Damn.
Once again, it all started with Matt Kenseth. It's worth noting that one of Matt's greatest adversaries was Tony Stewart, who drove the Joe Gibbs number 20 car. So it came as quite the shock when it was announced that from 2013 onward, that's the car he would be driving.
Surprise!
Light the candles, happy birthday,
Matt Kenseth scores his 27th Cup Series win.
Wow, I can't believe that. Matt
Taylor
Kenseth is going to
wins.
hang on and win the night race in Bristol.
Best team in the business. We got our mojo back.
Maximum points at Chicagoland. To Mr. Matt Kenseth.
Good job, boys. Woo-hoo!
Matt Kenseth is going to open the chase with 2 straight wins.
This is more than a dream come true. Thanks, guys.
Now 41, driving his shiny new Camry, Kenseth experienced the winningest year of his whole career with 7 victories. Once again,
nice.
the most of anybody that season. He also, once again, led the points with just 3 races remaining, but would once again lose out to Jimmy Johnson, who was now on title number 6. Still, Matt's career had been revitalized in a big way. He was still as much of a threat as he was a decade earlier, but it was around this time that something strange started happening. In a sport full of drivers fully willing to throw hands, Kenseth was outstandingly non-confrontational. He went out of his own way to be a pacifist. In fact, in 2011, even after having his championship hopes cleaned out by a rabid Brian Vickers, and then getting wrecked again by Vickers in the following race, he did nothing.
Nope. He's a better man than me. I'm throwing punches, man. Ooh! I may get my ass kicked, but I'm throwing them punches.
Because that wasn't his style. He's a lover, not a fighter. So it came as quite the shock when in 2014, after a feisty chase race in Charlotte had already concluded and a rabid Brad Keselowski ran into Matt on pit road, this was his response.
Okay. All I'm gonna say is all the years of him being calm has finally bowled over, and now his back is against the wall. So what is he gonna do? He's gonna punch up somebody. Sends for his ass in the middle of the goddamn truck stop. Pow!
Honestly, if some jackass runs you in the fence, then hits you on pit road after you've already taken your seatbelts off, you deserve a free pass. And Kenseth got one, as he avoided being penalized for his little wrestling move, though the same couldn't be said for what happened the following year, arguably the most infamous moment of his whole career. You see, Kenseth had himself a pretty good year in 2015, racking up 5 victories and looking to make it 6 in Kansas. Unfortunately, Keselowski's teammate Joey Logano put the kibosh on that pretty quickly.
And I've always raced him with a ton of respect. I've actually been one of his biggest fans. Certainly not anymore.
Then the following week, Kenseth's championship hopes crumbled because of anarchy, and then in the week after, he had to watch Logano drive off into the sunset as, of all people, Brad Keselowski took him out on the backstretch.
Damn.
Logano seemed amused by the whole ordeal. Kenseth wasn't. And
I've never seen that clip before. He punched the air after that. He said, hell yeah, I did an amazing job. My enemies have been conquered. Kenseth was like, oh, you motherfucker. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to get you. Oh, that explains that part.
And instead of retiring his clearly wrecked race car, he chose to stay out on track and hobble around for a few laps. Now, if anybody else happened to be leading the race at the time, I have no doubt that Kenseth would have just left it alone. But thankfully, for the millions of fans who were just as sick of that 22 car as he was, he didn't.
Kenseth takes him out! Look out into the wall! Caution comes out and the crowd roars!
That makes a whole bunch of sense. I thought it was the next race that it went to wreck him. I didn't realize it was in the same race, bruv. It said, oh no, you're not getting to that championship, my guy. Because I think this was the semifinals, basically. And they were going to move on to the finals. And Logano was on smoke the whole season. So he could have ended up winning the championship because of the chase sort of situation that was going on. I don't know why I'm explaining this to you guys, because you guys already know. But it's absolutely blown my mind. I thought it was a different race that he came to attack him. Jesus Christ. Whoa.
He was suspended for 2 of the last 3 races, but it didn't matter. The damage was done, and the message had been sent.
Yeah.
In the words of Chad Knaus,
Matt just got more fans than he's ever gotten in his whole life right there.
Needless to say, he was the sentimental favorite heading into 2016, a year in which he won a couple of races and almost won a whole lot more. Even still, he managed to make it all the way to the penultimate race in the chase, and with 2 laps left, looked poised to claim another win, as well as a spot in the championship 4.
Did
But of
Logano
course,
take him
the
out?
car running in 80th had to bring out the caution and stack everybody up, and it was here, a year removed from perhaps his brightest moment, that Matt Kenseth would suffer his darkest.
He gets into the 20. The 20 slides. The 18 goes by. The 20 of Kenseth into the wall.
Of course, this would knock Kenseth out of the chase, and of course, Jimmy Johnson would win again. And as if that wasn't bad enough, in the following year, things just got worse. He lost his main sponsor, wrecked a lot of cars, and most importantly, he wasn't winning. He wasn't struggling either, but with the wealth of young talent stewing in the lower divisions, Matt knew he was sitting in the hot seat. All the pressure in the world was on him, and yet, by November, he was still winless and got eliminated from the chase on a technicality of having too many crewmen pit his car.
Oof.
A system that he inadvertently created screwed him out of his last meaningful shot at a title.
Damn.
And then, on November 4th, it was final.
I don't think he meant to create that system. It was just too consistent. And they threw the system onto everybody. I don't think it was even him that caused the whole situation. It was the last of the people that caused the situation. There's a whole bunch of drivers in the past that won championship before the end of the season. And it was just the straw that broke the camel's back.
And then, on November 4th, it was finally announced that after 2 decades of racing, Matt Kenseth would hang it up.
I felt like I could still be competitive. I felt like I could contribute to a team and be an asset. But I really wasn't ready to quit driving.
The world around him was always trying to keep up, and now it had finally caught him. So on November 12th, just 8 days after the announcement, in the same place where it all fell apart in the year prior, Matt drove the race of his life.
The 45-year-old comes out of turn number 4. Kenseth's going to win at Phoenix.
Let's go, Unc. Let's go. This is for all the Uncs out there.
Just got 1 race left. Everybody dreams of going out a winner, so.
Following week, he'd make his final full-time start, running a special paint scheme fittingly alongside an old friend. Then he'd return in 2018 for one last go-around with Roush, this time driving their number 6 car. And then in 2020, he'd make an unexpected return and finish the way he started by driving the McDonald's car. And that was it. 22 seasons with 39 victories, including 4 crown jewels, and perhaps the quietest Hall of Fame career in NASCAR history.
Wow. Every time I went to the racetrack, so that's all I could do.
If I could sum up Kenseth's career with just one word, it would be overshadowed. He made his debut driving somebody else's car.
Jimmy Johnson.
He had to share a rookie year with the sport's most popular driver.
Yeah.
His greatest accomplishments were always shrouded by outside headlines. Heck, he couldn't even get his own retirement tour. So what was it that made him so endearing? Well, just ask his competitors.
I didn't measure myself against anyone else the way I did you.
I'm a big Matt Kenseth fan.
Matt Kenseth made me proud.
He wasn't the loudest or the boldest or the flashiest because he didn't have to be. In the end, Matt Kenseth made a name for himself doing what few of his generation could, keeping his head down and letting his driving speak for him. And ironically, in fitting into the system so well, he made them change it. Perhaps the greatest testament to achievement that an athlete will ever receive.
Well said, Elly. Letting his driving do the talking. I think that's what I and so many Matt Kenseth fans appreciated most about him. So many great drivers have come out of the Midwest, Wisconsin specifically, and so many of them were viewed as underdogs up against some of the big dogs of NASCAR. But occasionally you'd get a breakthrough, a Kulwicki, a Kenseth. When I was growing up, it was Earnhardt and Gordon and Stewart stealing the headlines, but there's this guy, this blue-collar dude from Wisconsin, running with and sometimes beating the best stock car drivers in the world. Everybody loves an underdog, but really folks love an underdog who wins.
Yeah,
Matt
that's
Kenseth
the
won
one.
so much he stopped being an underdog. I think that's what so many folks aspire to be, to go from zero to hero. I love that so many now look back fondly at his legacy. He may not have stood out as much as others during his era, but years later, his resume does stand out compared to that of many of his rivals. He had a huge impact on my life growing up, but perhaps he had an even greater impact on stock car racing as a whole. An impact that has been felt for literal decades, and in many ways is still being felt today.
Wow. Wow, what a video. What a combination of amazing creators there. That was impressive. I didn't know. Ladies and gentlemen, no idea that when he crashed into Logano, he was in the same race. Why didn't he get a black flag for going too slow, by the way? Because I thought that would have been a thing. Because he said there was a cobbling along, or whatever the word was. Body parts were missing. Everything was gone. But, hey, he did what he had to do, man. Smacked him all the way into the wall. This was a great video. Oh, man, I'd never really paid attention to him before, but nice. Nice. I really appreciate this video. Thank you very much for the suggestions, guys. Keep them coming. All right, let's get out of here. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you on the next one. Take it easy. Goodbye. Peace. Hey, shout out to all the members and everybody that I subscribed on the channel, by the way. I really appreciate y'all. See ya.